Hey everyone, welcome back once again to the complete story of Pokemon Adventures. Today's going to be a bit of a unique one, as you can probably tell by the video length, and that's because we're going to be covering the special chapter of Pokemon Adventures, taking place directly after the Gold, Silver and Crystal arc, but still before the Ruby and Sapphire arc. So of course, if you haven't checked out the other parts, make sure to do that before this one so the story makes more sense. Or don't, it's your choice. But with all that said and done, let's get straight into things. Our story takes place atop Mount Silver, where a Pikachu's Ball of Lightning strikes at a trainer. This trainer being Gold, the hero of Johto. Whilst hanging over a cliffside, Gold asks for a timeout. A voice then asks him if he's alright, lending him his hand. This voice belonging to Red, the champion of the Indigo Plateau. Gold's feeling pretty pissed off at Red, since he's the one who recommended they train at Mount Silver, due to the strong Pokemon being there. The only issue with that is, Gold's team is way weaker than Red's team. And if you're curious about how much weaker, well, let me show you. As you can see, Red's Pokemon are all the way in the 70 and 80 range, but little old Gold is only chilling in the 30s and 40s, with some of them being even lower. And whilst we're at it, I might as well show you the levels of all the other dex holders at the time, with the order of strongest to weakest, with Red and Blue clearly being at the top, followed by Green, then surprisingly Crystal, then Silver, then Gold, and lastly and unfortunately leastly, Yellow. Although that's only judging by levels, which doesn't make a battle. Getting back to the story, Gold spots someone hiding behind a rock, having his Pichu attack it. But it just turns out to be the radio director Hero. He greets Red, saying he came in hopes of interviewing him, taking photos of his team, which gets Gold angry since Red never agreed to accepting any interviews. Hero says that the Kanto and Johto regions were in grave danger, but thanks to the dex holders, peace was restored. So as a man of the media, Hero knew that it was his job to film not a 2-hour, but instead a 4-hour special covering these events. Red is indifferent to this, so Gold lets it slide, but tells Hero not to get in the way of their training, as they're going to be having a rematch right now, telling Pichu to get ready. But the Pokemon's too busy playing with Pika. Gold's disappointed at the lack of tension between the two Pokemon, but Red explains that since Pichu came from the egg that his Pika and Yellow's Choo-Choo made, it naturally views Pibu as special. In other words, they're father and son. Although the two Pokemon are only playing around, as Pikachu teaches Pichu some tricks. Red wonders if Pikachu's in training mode too, as they've been up here for 3 days now. Gold tells Pichu to follow him so they can try and master what Pikachu taught him, but Pichu gets swiped away by a form of vine. Gold chases after his Pokemon but gets punched directly in the stomach. Red rushes to help him out but notices a cut on his leg, even though he got hit in the gut. Pikachu chases after Pichu and Gold tells Red to follow it. So Red chases after too, leaving behind his team to protect Gold and Hero. As they travel further into the mountain's forest, Red thinks what kind of Pokemon could have attacked them. From the way it kidnapped Pichu, it has to have whips, but from the way it attacked Gold, it has to be able to throw punches. But not only that, it also has to be able to slash something as it cut Gold's leg. Red and Pika then notice something's up, causing Pikachu to get impatient. The two get attacked, but Red dodges just in time, noticing that the attack landed on a tree and it's been punched and cut, which could mean the Pokemon has sharp blades. Another attack comes through, this time being a whip, but after what happened in Mount Moon, Red's learned to efficiently dodge everything. He continues to theorize, knowing that the Pokemon has 3 forms of attacks, but it's too fast for him to spot it. A Pokemon that shares the characteristics of many others. And he wonders, is there really a Pokemon out there like that? Which, if you couldn't tell, is foreshadowing. But that's for future Red to worry about. Red then finally realizes who he's up against, asking Pikachu what his first response to the attacks was. These attacks being Dynamic Punch, Razor Leaf and Vine Whip, all attacks he's used himself. He got stumped thinking he was fighting one Pokemon, in actuality he was fighting 2 Pokemon, a Poliwrath and a Venusaur. And with a Thunderbolt from Pikachu, the 2 Pokemon showed themselves. Red and Pika can't help but feel a strange feeling against fighting Pokemon that are normally on their side, but with Pichu being a hostage, they have no choice but to battle. Pikachu rushes into battle, dodging Poliwrath's attack but nearly getting hit by Vine Whip. Red tells his partner to chill out, as their opponents are working together, covering the area that the other missed, so they can't blindly walk into things. Red may not know why the Pokemon are attacking them, but he won't back down from a challenge. Pikachu on the other hand is feeling down, and Red realizes this is because the Pokemon didn't figure things out, due to him being too hot-headed, making Red laugh at the thought that Pikachu gets down too. He returns the Pokemon back to his Pokeball, telling it not to worry, since now they have an opportunity to teach Pichu a lesson. He tells Pikachu his plan, they're not going to be moving or talking, and Pikachu should stay inside of his Pokeball. As he does this, the Poliwrath and Venusaur become confused, and so Red walks up to them slowly and silently. Venusaur has his vine circle Red, but Red knows that it only attacks its targets if they're too loud or move around. so all he has to do is get past the vines and deal with the punches and razor leaves. And whilst Red's doing this, Pikachu's charging its electricity and its Pokeball, and once they've reached range, Red lets Pikachu out, landing both a Thunderbolt and Iron Tail, taking down their foes and freeing Pichu. And with their rescue mission being a success, Red meets up with Gold and Hero again, and the group head to the hot springs to relax. Gold never thought that Red would change his carefree expression into something so serious, wanting to someday defeat this serious Red. A few days later, Gold and Red have returned home, and Gold's chilling at Red's house. Red's searching his belongings to find a magazine he was looking for. Eventually, he finds it, and asks Gold what was the final move he used against the Masked Man, with Gold replying that he called it the Super Rising Thunder, since he thought it sounded strong, but Red thinks he's found the actual name of this move, being the ultimate attack Volt Tackle. Now knowing more about it, Gold wants to learn how to use this move without the help of Raikou, so Red lends him his electric immune gloves. Gold thanks his senior, commenting on all the cool stuff in his room, like the poster reading Lizardon, which he thought would say Charizard, but Red explains that overseas that's what they call it there, and one of his friends sent it to him. I assume in the Japanese version this poster would say Charizard. And the idea of multiple languages in Pokemon is pretty cool, and hey, who knows, maybe Red has a friend from Galar or Unova, since they would be the English speaking regions. With both trainers agreeing that the world's a big place. Gold jokes that maybe Volt Tackle's called Super Rising Thunder over there. Red laughs then prepares to head out, telling Gold to make himself at home. Gold's wondering where he's going, and Red says that he's got plans with Blue. So Gold does just that, and watches TV. On the TV, news reads about a virus that's been recently discovered. It was found in the depths of outer space, and is currently being investigated via rocket, and details are being sent to the Moss Deep Space Center. Gold can't keep up with all these things, but it does make him wonder that maybe Pokemon exist in space too. Red and Pikachu run over to meet Blue, and both agree to help each other out if they get into any trouble, with either one of them is feeling down. Once again, some foreshadowing, but also really cementing this trainer and Pokemon duo as the best, bringing our short story to an end. As some of you keen-eyed viewers would have noticed, this story, although taking place when it does, showcases Pokemon from even the 5th generation, and that's actually because this was published in 2013, but still fits here in the timeline. In fact, the whole reason this special chapter was created was just because Red and Pikachu won a human and Pokemon popularity poll in 2011. As I mentioned, this arc foreshadows a couple stuff for the future arcs, so comment down below if you can guess what they are and your opinions on this short story. Personally, I'm a really big fan of it, as it gave us some much needed interactions between my two favorite characters. And I also have to give credit to the team at Illuminate Scans for translating this piece of media, as otherwise this would have been Japanese only. And lastly, if you want me to cover more of these spin-off style stories that still take place in the world of Pokemon Adventures, let me know in the comment section down below, as far as I'm aware, the 2 Ranger mangas are also in this continuity. And although I already covered one before, I'd be happy to make an updated version now. But with all that said and done, I'll be catching you all in the next videos. Take care!